Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone's doing well. I had an amazing April. I colored so many pages and I really think it's down to basing with something. And usually I'm basing with watercolor and that covers up all the white space. So I don't really have to work that hard with my pencils. I'm happy that I'm getting more pages done because then, there's that excitement that I finished the page. And for the most part, I really like all of the pages I've done. There are 2 or 3 that, I don't want to say are kind of like, they just didn't come out the way I had envisioned it. So I'll show you when I get to it and I'll explain why I don't like the page as much as I like all of the others. But first, let me go really quickly through my stats. For April in YouTube, I started with 1,115 and I ended with 1,180. So that is an additional 65 subscribers, which I'm really excited about. We're starting to get like a really good group together. Oh, my troll came back. And I do have to say I'm kind of disappointed. Like, Jesus. She just keeps saying the same thing on how boring I am. I think we already established that I'm really boring. I'm even more boring than this in real life. This is me, as I mentioned, excited. So we've established I'm boring. We've established from my hands that I'm old. Honey, please move on. Get some new material. This is getting stale. I mean, you're getting more boring than me. And that's saying a lot. So me hearing that I'm boring for the 5th time is getting stale. So let me get back, talk about moving onto my stats. So Instagram started with 912, ended up with 928, and now I've got an additional 16. And I'm getting close to my 1,000 there too, so that's getting exciting. I did do 21 pages, which is an amazing record. That's the most I've ever done. I used to average 9, 10, 11, and now with all the basing, I'm almost doubling that. Also really exciting, I did 5 whips. So I'm really energized by this. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing 5 every single month, but I'm going to be doing like 1 or 2 at the minimum, and this is really awesome. So I started April with 55. I'm ending April with 50. So that's 5 additional whips. And I had 4 buddy colors this month. So those are my stats. And we'll move on to all of my books. Okay, the first book I want to show you is Enchanted Faces by Hannah Lynn. And I completed just one of them was a whip, one of them is not a whip. Well, was not a whip. This was the whip, and I did have a lot of trouble with this one. I don't know. I really am happy the way it turned out. I did have a little like mishap from the other page that I didn't really even try to cover. I just colored her the way I wanted to. The issue I had was I didn't know what some of these things were, and I had to go on, I guess I went on Pinterest, I think, to see what other people colored this as, and apparently this is all part of her hair. I didn't know it was. I just didn't know what it was. And the background, although it's fine, but in my head, it bled out even more and looked really cool, and in real life, I didn't blend or couldn't blend it as well as I wanted to. But otherwise, I'm happy with the page. I tried to make her look like a geisha, but I did put some color on her face. It just is a really, really pale peach. And I wanted to leave everything else as white as I could. And I think this is fairly traditional, this red, eyeshadow or eye makeup. But on this page, I just used On this one, alcohol markers as a base, Prismacolor, and some gel pen. Okay, yeah, I did some of the small details with the gel pen. I think that's all I did. This was the Jelly Roll Moonlight. And then the second page was Not a Whip, and that is her. And I really, really like this one. I didn't know what this thing was. Other people, after I looked it up, it was after I colored it. I guess this was supposed to be part of her arm, and this was supposed to be, I don't know what this was, but I kind of just did it as like, you know, a tattoo sleeve kind of thing. I really like her blue skin. I think that came out really pretty. On this page, I used alcohol markers to base almost literally everything, I think. Just little parts of her hair were not. And I shaded a little bit with my Holbeins, which work really nicely on this page or on this paper. So that is my first two from Enchanted Faces by Hannah Lynn. Next up, I have Coloring Dragons, which is a Pictura fold-out book, and I'm almost finished with this. The page the panel that I worked on is this one, and I really like the way it came out. I used a lot of watercolor, and I did do a lot with my Holbeins in this panel. I did bring out some of the colors that I used in here onto the last panel that I have to do. I didn't, you know, while I had my paints out, I just wanted to keep it going so that there's a lot of consistency. The only thing I don't know, I would have finished this and probably could have. I just don't know how to do the dragons, because this one might be a real dragon, but these just are dragon faces on the water. And I honestly don't know how to do that. I don't know if I should keep them all like a white, lighter, darker. I just don't know what to do with it. If anyone has any suggestions, please leave it on the bottom. I'm totally stuck. This is like 2 or 3 months that I've been looking at this thinking, I don't know what to do with it. I've tried looking on Pinterest. I can't find anything for this book. So I really don't know how to tackle this. Like I said, these I could treat as real dragons, but the ones that are in the waves, I am completely stuck on. So I'm almost done. I have this panel, which I might work on in May if someone has a good suggestion. Excuse me. So I would really like to finish it and then just show you what it looks like all pulled out. So that is, yeah, that I did tell you what I used on the other page, right? I think so. Watercolors and Holbeins. Anyway, so that is Coloring Dragons, a Pictura fold out coloring book. Next up, I have Spooky by Sarah Sedgwick. And I did this page. And I tried to make it look like lighter where the light would be hitting. And I really like it. I think it came out well. The only thing I didn't love was I started running out of this alcohol marker. And, you know, this is a theme. I have had these Ohuhu markers for quite some time. And I keep going on their website. I keep going on Amazon. And I'm not really finding the full, well, I'm not buying like 350 markers, but the size that I want, I can't seem to find available. They don't really have any stock in anything, buying individual or even the refill. So, you know, I don't know what to do about that. But yeah, that's the one thing that kind of was upsetting, that I was running out of this marker and really trying to stretch it. But otherwise, I really think it came out well. I used, obviously, the alcohol markers, and then I shaded and colored with my ChromaFlow pencils. Then I used a silver Signo gel pen to put little dots on the chair. And I don't know if you'll be able to see that. I think you can a little bit up there, right? So I used some highlight, or I think this was a metallic watercolor. I used the gold Signo gel pen, and I even outlined the cat. Instead of using white, I decided to use the silver as well. So really happy with the way that turned out. And I think that's all I did in Spooky by Sarah Sedgwick. And the side tabs usually mean I have a whip. So I still have one whip in this book, but hopefully I will be able to finish that soon. Up next, I have Village Charm by Teresa Goodrich. This is a Creative Haven book. And I did, is this the first page? No, it isn't. I did this page. And the majority, as you can see, is all alcohol marker. So I am trying to get a little bit better with my alcohol markers, adding some sort of texture with them, trying to do like shadows with them. But I don't have that many. Well, I have a lot. I have like 90 something, I think. So that's a lot for me. But in some cases, I don't have a color that really works well. So in this case, I decided to just shade with my Prismacolors. But as much as I could, I tried to do the shading with the alcohol markers. And I'm happy with the way it came out. It actually was a lot more fun than I thought. If I'm using just alcohol markers, I don't feel as satisfied, I think is a good word, but this one did really feel satisfactory because in the end, I did take my pencils out, I did shade a little, but I still was proud of myself for doing as much as I could with the alcohol markers. So happy with that page. Up next, I have Seasons by Hannah Carlson, and I did 2 whips in this book. The first one was I think this was the nameplate page, but I decided to just black it out, and I can't remember why. Yeah, I guess I just didn't want to, and I made this sort of like a night scene. You can see a little bit of the wording underneath, but you really have to look hard. So I'm happy with it. I like the color palette. I think I originally had like all these red mushrooms done and then decided I wasn't really going to keep that much red in. I really wanted it to be pink and yellow. And I used the watercolors to base, my Prismacolors, and some gel pens. So that is the first page. And then I did the page I said I was abandoning. I had a subscriber sort of convince me with a different page that I can still save it. If I just used my paint pens, I probably could save the page. And I thought she was right. Like, I didn't need to abandon this page because I was a little unhappy with the flowers. And I like it now. I think I like it a lot more than I thought I was going to. This flat, I think this is the Tim Holtz Distress ink. It had gotten everywhere. I mean, it really did cover parts of the bird because I did mask, but I only masked the ends. So like when I was going over it, it sort of got on everything. And I just felt like, this is it. I'm abandoning this page. This is annoying. But you could still see it in some spots, but I think I covered it up really well. And in this book, I used, I think I just said it, watercolors, Prismacolors, and a gel pen. Now, not really totally thrilled with me using all this yellow, moonlight, Jelly Roll moonlight all over the place, but I still like it. I really love my eggs. I think they came out really nice. But otherwise, I got an abandoned page off that list, and it's now a completed page. So that is the 2 whips that I finished in Seasons by Hannah Carlson. The next book is Cozy Spaces by Rada Prince. And this is one of the pages that I like it. I just didn't feel that satisfied. And that's because there's almost no pencil here. I think I just added a light layer of pencil to get like a wood grain, like a grainy look. But otherwise, everything else is alcohol marker. And then, yeah, I like it. I just didn't feel as satisfied doing this. And I think in part, it's also the paper. The paper is very thin. I think someone told me why there's the black on the back. I just don't remember what it is. But I find that annoying because I can see it, right? I can see it all through from the other side. So I didn't like the paper. I should have used a little bit more pencil, but I'm not beating myself up over it. Don't get me wrong. I like the page. It's done. And it's my first one in this book. So it counted for Color Your Hoard, April 2025. That is Cozy Spaces by Rada Prince. Up next, I have Menowette de Bonire. I think this is Kanoko Agusa. I thought I wrote that down. I keep thinking I'm going to remember it, and then I don't write it down, and the next month rolls around, and I don't remember it. But I finished, or I did, oh, I didn't mark it? No. Oh, that's why. This is the 5th whip. I did this page. And on this page, I used my Brut Funer Macaron, my Prismacolors, various metallic gel pens. I did some metallic watercolor, and then I did a pan pastel for the background. And I like the way it came out. This was the first strawberry I did. This is the second one. So I really think I'm improving with my pencil. I still have a problem with leaving the highlight, but it's getting better, and definitely my skills are getting better because there's a big difference between like whenever I did this a year or two, or I don't know, 2 years ago, I'm not really too sure, versus this one. So really happy with the way this turned out. So that is Menowette de Bonire by, I think, Kanoko Agusa, but don't quote me on that one. Up next, I have The Best of Pop Manga by Camilla Derrico, and I did 1 page, and I did this pretty little girl. And I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I don't know, I asked my husband if it really needed a background. I didn't even know what color because I tried to stay blue, pink, you know, and I did like just the green toad and just like kind of this yellow brown for the sack. But he didn't think it needed it. I didn't know what color to do it, so it has no background. But I really have to get less messy. I mean, I really don't think I have 1 page that doesn't have a spot on it somewhere it's not supposed to be. But I don't know, I guess when I'm coloring, I get excited. I'm not really paying attention that this is still wet. I move my hands, I drop a pencil, I drop a brush. I mean, I have a million excuses on why I'm a slob, but I really, really am. But in this page, I did almost all watercolor, and then a little bit of shading with my Polychromos pencils. But I tried to do as much of my shading with the watercolor as I could. I'm still trying to grow my skill of watercolor in coloring books, because I do watercolor on like watercolor paper from time to time. And, you know, that's just a lot easier because the paper is agreeable. It's sized so that, you know, the watercolors move, they could blend. So it's a little harder on paper that doesn't have that sizing, but it's still a lot of fun. And I love these, you know, hard lines, discolorations. I think that's what makes watercolor so beautiful. But yeah, so that is my page in The Best of Pop Manga by Camilla Derrico. Next up, I have Astro Kawaii by Kevin Teo Art. And I did the Aries page. And I looked up a little bit about the sign. It's a fire sign, so I decided to make her hair orange. And it says that she is bold, energetic, impulsive, and quick-tempered. Again, I did red and oranges and then gold to try to match that personality. On this page, I used alcohol markers to base a lot of it. Not the hair, though. I didn't feel confident with using the alcohol markers when I wanted so many different colors. So I just decided to opt for a straight pencil background. And I'm happy I did. I like the way it came out. And these were Prismacolors. And then I used Pan Pastel for the background. I sort of created a floor and just did a regular blue background. And then I used the Spectrum Noir Sparkle over the gold that I created with my Prismacolor pencils. So I'm not sure if you can see it, but there we go. I'm not sure if you're just seeing the wax bloom or whether you're seeing the Spectrum Noir Sparkle, but it looks pretty. I like to do that over my pencil gold, and I like to do the pencil gold because I think that, I like to make golds with pencils, especially my Prismacolors and my polys, because I think it adds a lot more depth than when you use like those generic, even from a good brand, of the metallic gold or silver. So I like doing my own golds with my pencils and then putting the Spectrum Noir over it. So I'm really happy with how she turned out. So that is Astro Kawaii by Kevin Teo. Up next, I have Coloring with Your Octopus. And I thought this was a buddy color, but I don't see anything. So I did this page. I had previously had this one, so I decided to do the one right next to it so I could kind of see 2 pages complete. And I also like the way this came out, but I used quite a bit of water medium and it kind of curled my paper. So I used watercolor, as I just mentioned, Prismacolor, and then I used an oil pastel for these clouds. Now, and I think I used some metallic oil pastels on the bottom for the water to kind of make it look glistening. And yeah, I've had this book open for about 3 weeks and I can still feel that it's not completely dry. I don't know what to do, if I should just keep this book open or whether I should just put in a piece of paper and call it a day. I'm not sure. I don't have very much experience at all with oil pastels. This might be like the second time I use them, but yeah, it's gonna take a while, I think, for it to continue to dry. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I might just look it up on, Instagram or what other people are doing. So that is Coloring with Your Octopus by Brian Kessinger. The next up, I have Mythographic Wild Summer, my favorite mythographic book. And I did, this was a buddy color with Shannon Johnson on Instagram, and she did a beautiful job. And when I'm done showing you mine, I'm going to show you hers. If I remember, and that's 50-50, I will put her name up on the screen as with anyone else that I've done a buddy color with this month. So I had to tone down the colors of this. It looked like someone vomited color. And I like it okay. I don't think it's a miss, but I don't think it's a hit either. I liked it better once I reduced the, you know, sweet candy colors I picked. But yeah, it was just too much. And this is the page, and I do like it a lot better now that I toned down some of like the reds and pinks, the maroon, even a little bit the orange. I added a more dirty orange to it. But I like the page. I think it came out okay. Again, not one of my best, but nowhere near my worst. What I tried to do was a yin and yang kind of feel. I don't think anyone would get that if I didn't tell you that's what I was going for, especially with these colors in between. Maybe if they weren't there, it would be more obvious. But maybe I should have done this one in the yin and yang. But overall, I'm happy with it. I used, oh, I thought I used alcohol marker here, but I didn't. I used my Inktense pencils. That's what I used. Then I used Jelly Roll. I did shade some with my Prismacolors. And then that Spectrum Noir Clear that I just talked about. Just wish the yin and yang was a little bit more obvious than it is. And I don't know if you're going to see some of the sparkle there on like the ferrule of the paintbrush. And then I put it on the silver metallic that I did on the tubes of paint. So that was about it. It was a really fun page, but I don't like working with limited color palette. I like doing whatever color feels right to me, but sometimes I wish I did use a color palette, and this is one of those times. It had so many neon bright colors on it, and it was overwhelming. So I'm glad I was able to tone it down with my Prismacolor pencils, and then I really liked the page. I like the dark background as well. I think it makes things pop. It makes this mat that they're on or paper appear more 3D. So I really like that part of it. So all in all, I think it was a pretty good page. So that is from Mythographic. Oh, sorry guys, I forgot to put, I'm now going to put Shannon's right here so that you can see it. She definitely went with a little bit more muted colors than I did, although hers is very colorful also. So I think we both felt like with all of these paint colors that it fit. So yeah, that is Shannon's page. And that is from Mythographic Wild Summer by Joseph Kattenbang. Up next, I have Gnomes in the Neighborhood by Denise Klett. I really wanted to work on a page here in her book to decide if I'm going to buy her newest book. I really, really like the images, and I like the few completed pages that I've seen in the book already. But I knew I never picked this book up that much, and just wanted to refresh my memory on why I don't pick this book up more often. So I decided to work on a whip, and the page came out, because I think, this is coming undone, the spine, you can see the glue. So this book is not going to last. And in this, I used a lot of watercolor. I used some alcohol markers. I used gel pen, a lot of gel pen here and there, but it's primarily watercolor. I don't hate the page, but I definitely don't like it. And I did this like graffiti kind of style of writing here. I don't like that either. I think just having my name plainly would have been better. I am happy with the way I used my alcohol markers. I started shading a little bit with them. Unfortunately, the paper absorbs at a different rate. It happened with my watercolor, it happened with the alcohol marker, where you could see, even though I'm going and trying to make a smooth blend or transition, it just, you could see there's all of these differences in color, and it looks worse actually on screen than it does in person. But yeah, the same thing happened when I used the watercolor here. It just absorbed that whatever I put down as quickly as I put it down, and I was unable to move anything. So I realized in the long run, although I think her art is beautiful, Goblins, that's the new book. Okay, so it is her new Goblins, I guess, in the neighborhood. And although I love the art in that one, and I do like her art in this one as well, I don't enjoy this. And I think in part it's the paper, that everything gets kind of streaky, including watercolor and alcohol markers. And yeah, I also think that the amount of background in most of these is very intimidating to me. I don't know what to do with it. So I don't think I'm going to get the new book, which I don't know if I'm going to change my mind, because it really is lovely looking. But right now, I think I'm just going to stay with my one, Denise Klett, try to work on it a little bit more, because I think I've only done 2 or 3 pages in here. Yeah, I think 3, okay, maybe 4, but I think it's more like 3. And just try to get a little bit more intimate with how to color her art and how to work with this paper. And if that starts to go well, maybe I will get the Goblins book, but right now I'm going to stay with Gnomes in the Neighborhood. Next up, I have Dark Fairy Tales by Kirby Rosanes. And when I first saw completed pages, or not even completed pages, I guess some YouTubers received an early copy before the rest of us did, and it definitely was darker than I thought it was going to be or would want it to be. But I vacillated. Do I return it? Because I did a pre-order. Do I stop the pre-order? Do I just let it arrive? And when I got it, I also thought, like, this is dark, and this is really, some pages are very, very dark, and some of them are actually kind of scary looking. So was I really going to color it? Would this be a book I would, turn to from time to time? And then I decided to color in it, and I colored the Wizard of Oz page, and I now love this book. I had such a great time with this. I did a lot of Inktense in here. As a matter of fact, all of it is Inktense, I believe. And it worked so nicely on this paper. I had a little bit of trouble with these clouds and making them the colors I wanted. So, I had a little trouble there. But otherwise, it was so much fun to work with. But again, I used only my Inktense pencils, and I think a silver Signo gel pen. I did some white gel pen around the clouds and on the ravens, but I think most of it is silver. Oh, you know what I did and I didn't write down? I did use the Spectrum Noir Clear Sparkle on the Tin Man, because I didn't think that what I did really looked like silver. It just looked gray. So I threw that over it. So I think that's what's spreading all over the lion, who's not supposed to be sparkly. He's supposed to be scary. And I didn't exactly know what these were. Was this something that spiked through him, or was this part of him? So I decided to act like it was part of him. I didn't add any blood or anything like that. But I really loved working on this page, and I'm so excited to kind of work on another one. I think I've chosen this double page spread, which is so stunning. But this was, now I knew when I did the review that I might be wrong. It might turn out to be a book I absolutely adore, and I think it's going to be. As I said, some of the pages are really dark, not things that I really want to color, like this double page spread would be awesome, but not for me. So, you know what? If I get half of this done, yeah, this page I'm not that crazy about either. It's not scary, but yeah, some of it is just really dark. But yeah, I think it's going to be fun. This is a beautiful page. So there's about half of the book that I find amazingly beautiful. And the rest is beautiful, but scary. But I'm keeping this book. I think it's a good one for me. So that is Dark Fairy Tales by Kirby Rosenes. Up next, I have Amazon by Paula Brune. And I did this snake page. And I really like the way it came out. I did try to bring some of the colors from this page onto this. So I made the flowers the same, the butterfly the same. I brought in the peach somewhere. Maybe it was originally part of, yeah, I think I did have it as one of the colors of the snake and then decided it wasn't bright enough and just colored over it. But I did use on this page my Albert Dürer watercolor pencils, which worked really nicely on this paper. And then I used the Jelly Roll glaze, jelly on the butterfly. I used Jelly Roll Sparkle on the markings on the snake. And I think that's it. And I used some Jelly Roll Moonlight, I think in here when I was trying to cover up some of the black lines on the snake. And I used it a little bit on the flowers too. But I think I stopped at that point and just left the black lines on the rest of it. Yeah, but I love the page. I think it came out really good. And I like my snake, and it counts for Year of the Snake. So that is Amazon by Paula Brune. Up next, I have Wildflower Folk by Christine Karen. I had two buddy colors in this. The first one, no, that's the one I'm still working on. No. Okay, where's my page? Okay, here we go. And it is Thistle Landing. And I really like the way this turned out as well. On this one, I used my alcohol markers to base like the flower and her skin, and yeah, some of the other flowers as well. Then I used some watercolor for this background here. And then I used my newer pencils, the Chroma Flows. Didn't have all the colors I wanted, so then I added my Polychromos for the hair. The watercolor that I used for the moon or sun, I'm not too sure what this is, but I decided to make it gold. And I don't know how to pronounce this, Komorebi watercolor. This is Mozart. I have no idea where I got this, but I've had it a really long time and I really like it. It goes down really nicely. I love the light yellow that I used on this, and I think it came out really pretty. And then I also used stickles for the wings. And I think you can see the shine there. And this is a new stickles. It's kind of like more pinkish and gold. And I really, really like it. I think it's so pretty. So I am in love with this page. And now my buddy was with Kate Taylor. And if I remember, I'll put it up on the screen. And she did a fantastic job as well. I'm going to put her page here, and you can see it's absolutely beautiful. And yeah, great minds think alike. It's kind of similar in some ways and very different in others. So yeah, I hope you like her page as well. The second page I'm not going to show yet. It is also a buddy color. I'm just waiting for Kate to finish hers. No pressure at all. I'll gladly show this next month. So no problem. Kate, if you're watching, don't feel stressed. So this is from my buddy colors with Kate's Coloring Haven. So I'm going to show you mine. Just know that I did an additional page when hers is complete. Up next, I have Fairy Tales and Folklore by Emily Lederhall Oberg. And I did this bunny page. This to me is sort of one of my fails for the month. I don't hate it, but I don't like it either. Yeah, I don't know why I don't like it. I don't. It looks more childlike, the bunny, and I think that's what's throwing me off. That should I have put more of a background on this? I wanted to keep the bunny white and gray, so I, colored half of it gray and half of it white. I don't know. It just looks amateurish, like I colored when I was a kid. So I'm not happy with this page at all. Yeah, so what did I use on this page? I obviously used my watercolors because you can kind of see it in the background. I didn't feel that my watercolors did really well on this paper this time, and I think it was just me because I've used the watercolors on here in the past and it worked fine. So there was something about my maybe heavy-handedness or something that just doesn't look as good as some others. Then I used my Prismacolors. It was so splotchy that I had to cover it with an opaque pencil. And the only one I really have that opaque are my Prismas. So I used those on the background, and I used it for shading in some places. In others, I used gel pens. There's quite a bit of gel pen actually all over the eggs. I did those completely with gel pen, as well as, I don't know what these are called on a flower. Is it stamen? I don't remember. But these like little red things. So the rest is mostly watercolor. Yeah, and some pencil for shading. I did use some gel pens up here to mask out the pink bow, but otherwise left the black. Oh no, I used it on the flowers here. So yeah, so that is my page. Not all of them can be total successes. It's not a complete flop. I just, don't care for it. So that is what I did in Fairy Tales and Folklore by Emily Lederhall Oberg. Next up is Dunle Bunt by Sarah Richter. This was also a buddy color. This is she's on YouTube. So she's on both YouTube and Instagram. So the page we worked on, okay. Yeah. I think this is going to look better on camera than it does in person, or at least I hope it does, because literally the hair is too vibrant. I kind of got a little lost with my hair. Yeah, it is extremely vibrant, but I don't know if it's in a good way. Like maybe the yellow just took it over the top. I could have kept it all red, and I don't know. But, I love her face. I like the background and the cape and the jewelry. I'm a little uneasy about how bright the hair is. Now, I did use watercolor. I forgot to write everything down, so I'm going to try to remember this. But obviously, I used watercolor. I tried adding some salt to make a little bit of variation in the background. And then I used alcohol marker for quite a bit of it. Her skin, the cape, some of parts of the jewelry, and a little bit the hair, but I think I did mostly the hair with watercolor and then pencil over it. I did also use a lot of gel pen, the Signo White, but I used the Jelly Roll Moonlight pens on the hair to get rid of some of the black lines, and the white around these horns, around some of the jewelry. I also used gold, metallic pen. Yeah, so I like the way her nails came out, by the way, and her eye makeup. And usually I'm awful at that, but I really like the way that came out. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see some of, I think you can, some of the glitter from the gel pens. And see, her nails came out kind of cool. I added black tips and like 3 gold dots. Don't mean anything. I just didn't know what else to do with them. And I added some dots. I guess I was adding dots to the jewelry and it kind of came up that way. So I like her. I just think her hair is just throwing me a little bit. And again, I think it's this yellow. You know, if I had stayed orange and maybe this golden yellow, it might have been okay. But, you know, I have so many layers on here, like no pencils are sticking. And her skin tone is very warm gray because she's a vampire, I think. So she wouldn't have any blood. So I left her. I wasn't going to do any pink on the cheeks because I figured they wouldn't have it, but it just looked weird. So I added a slide pink to her cheeks, but I love her face. She's very, very pretty. So I'm going to move this over and I'll show you Claire's right here. As you can see, she did a really good job and her hair is definitely more normal than mine. I do like the way hers works with the jewelry, like the whole composition, like she has the blonde hair, she has the gold jewelry. So I really like that in her picture. So this was another great buddy color. Thanks, Claire. So that's everything that I worked on in Dunle Bunt by Sarah Richter. So that's it, guys. That is 21 pages. I would like your opinion on something. This video is longer than I normally go. And if I'm going to continue doing more pages because I'm basing and that's speeding up my coloring, I was wondering if you would prefer this one long video or whether you would care if I did like a mid-month. There are a few colorists that do that. They have a mid-month catch-up. They show some of their pages and then they show the other half of the pages at the end of the month. So please let me know your opinion if you have one on if you're okay with a video of this length or if you would prefer 2 shorter videos. So that is it for April 2025. So I hope to see you in the next video. Happy coloring, everyone. Bye for now.